A women's prisoner of war camp found on an island in the Pacific was the final camp liberated. This is a first-hand account.
And of course, all these years we'd never had shoes or anything. I was barefoot and I was in these faded old shorts, and we had a lot of head lice, and all our combs were burned. We finally found that we had about one comb for 9 people, and we had cut our hair off real short, and I was a mess. And he looked at me and he said, are you an American? I know I didn't look like a very smart American. I said, yes, I am. He said, where are your shoes? And I said, oh, I don't have any, but we haven't had any all this time, and that's fine. I'm all right. They put us in the hospital immediately. Oh, you don't know what it's like to have a hot shower after all those years, doing dipper bath type things, when you could get the water. We stayed in there, and they had soap, Camay, and warm water, and we soaped, and we showered, and we soaped, and we showered. And finally there was a knock on the door, and a wee voice said, if you girls want to have a shower later, you can, but we have dinner ready for you. I'll never forget what we had. It was cheese melted over toast. And to try to learn to use a knife and a fork again, that was something else. And then they took us into sick bay in the hospital, and we just had the clothes that I had borrowed to come home in. And we sat there. Miss Kemp had come with me. Miss Seeley, we couldn't get her on the plane. I told her Miss Kemp was there, and she'd come with me. And we sat there, and here were these nurses and all those dainty nighties and everything. And Margaret whispered, do you think we can just crawl in bed with our clothes on? I said, well, let's just wait till they turn the light out, and then we'll sneak into bed. So we sat there, and evidently they suddenly realized why we weren't crawling in bed. And one of the girls said, don't you have any nighties? I said, oh, no, this is all right. We're used to sleeping in our clothes. And they said, well, you're not going to sleep in them tonight. So they went, their PX was closed, so they went over to this Australian group, those great tall men that were this one outfit that they had. They brought back pajamas from there. And I put those pants on, and I tied it up here around my neck, and I joined them. And then I put my hand through the sleeve, and I rolled and rolled and rolled till I found that hand, and we finally got fixed, and then we crawled into bed. Oh, I didn't realize what a terrible thing a bed was with springs. So I'd just drop off to sleep, and that bed I'd turn, and that bed would give, and I'd grab the sides of it. And finally I knew that Margaret wasn't sleeping either, and I whispered to her, and I said, let's get out and get on the floor. She said, yes, but if we do, and they wake up and they catch us there. I said, that you're right. So we had a horrible night's sleep, but finally morning came. And then they flew us up to Palawan Island. Oh, what an experience that was. There's a Navy installation there. When we came up, and they had told them that we were one of the last camps, they had thought all the camps had been evacuated. We were one of the last camps that had ever been found at the end of the war. And when we came up the beach, they had the band. Everybody was in full dress uniform, and they started to play the Star-Spangled Banner and the Unfurled Old Glory. And that was too much. I looked up at that flag, and I thanked God for the boys. I thank God for those that had the courage to make the country free for women and children. And the beautiful food. And then they took us to Manila. They kept us there for a whole month before they thought we could even stand the trip on the boat going back to America.